go of Jim Schwartz. This is a move that people wondered if it would be coming, and in fact, Lions ownership has decided to make a change. Jim Schwartz becomes the 5th head coach to be let go today. So it has been a bloody day for the head coaches here on the Monday after the season. And again, I think right now the numbers are starting to pile up where we had 7 head coaches last year. We're up to 5. Jim Schwartz becomes the latest one. This is a team that had the division in front of it this year. The Green Bay Packers lost Aaron Rodgers. The Chicago Bears lost Jay Cutler. The Detroit Lions were in prime position to win that division, and they still couldn't get it done, to the point where the Lions decided, even though Jim Schwartz had 2 years and close to $12 million remaining on his contract, they decided to go a different direction and make a change.
And that is despite an owner in William Clayford Sr. who's been patient with a lot of these decisions. You know, stayed with Matt Millen, some people believe too long as a general manager. But this job intrigues a lot of coaches out there because of the Ford family, because they've been patient. The other thing is you have talent in place. You have a quarterback in place. That's what's different about the job. And Matthew Stafford, and there are coaches out there that believe that Matthew Stafford just needs to be, hey, knuckle down, get in great condition. Let's work on the fundamentals. Let's work on the mechanics. So this job moves way up near the top of being very attractive to these coaching prospects out there.
Adam, is this perhaps the most attractive coaching job out there because of the quarterback?
The quarterback makes it that way, and the quarterback becomes a situation there where that is a built-in reason to win right away. Whoever gets this job is capable of winning with this roster the way that it's currently constituted. There's talent on the defensive side of the football. There's talent on the offensive side of the football. And Matthew Stafford and Megatron, that combination, there are many coaches who believe they could go in there and win right away with that combination of people.
It is so early. It is moments old. If you have to spin this forward, though, as we do and as we have all morning, any idea of the right fit, coaching style-wise, maybe, if not a particular name?
We've talked a lot about Ken Whisenhunt being one of the leading candidates as an offensive coordinator. When Ken Whisenhunt has had a quarterback, Kurt Warner, this year Phillip Rivers, it's been pretty darn good, and that would be a guy that you would certainly talk about. And there's young guys out there like Jay Gruden with the Cincinnati Bengals. Some people believe Hugh Jackson, who's one of the offensive coaches there with the Bengals. You have to talk about a young guy like Adam Gase of the Denver Broncos, offensive coordinator, but he will not interview before the Broncos are eliminated from the playoffs. In other words, when there's a window open on Sunday to interview coordinators, Adam Gase, I'm told, will not interview. So if you want him, you have to be willing to wait for him.
Kind of a similar situation that we saw with Mike McCoy, who was a Bronco coordinator a year ago, and then he gets a job in San Diego.
And just to spell out the rules of that, the ground rules, teams that are on byes can have their assistant coaches interview for head coaching jobs January 5th. I believe that's this Sunday.
Right.
Teams that are in the playoffs that have assistants who other teams want to interview can interview January 12th. So if there's an assistant like a Mike Zimmer or a Jay Gruden on Cincinnati or Ken Whisenhunt on San Diego right now, teams, if those two, both those are not going to advance. One of them will advance. And whoever wants to interview one of those coordinators will have to wait till January 12th. And then you have to ask yourself, is a team willing to wait that long? Some will be, some won't be.
Yeah, and we always mention Lovie Smith because he's a guy who won 10 games a year ago who's available as well. And then Martin Mayhew is the general manager of the Lions. As of right now, he's safe. We haven't heard anything that he's out. He's a former teammate. I think he's a former teammate of Ken Whisenhunt as a player.